Alright, making a video. Yes, more than one camera again. Um, Even one over there. So anyway, context. Yes. So there's different things, different ways of looking at things, and so I wanted to talk about the difference between our life experience and like empirical knowledge. So conference report was sort of talking about the word knowledge, and then it's a little bit in Professor Anton too. Yeah, I think he made a video with the chick and such. They sort of got on the subject of, well, I don't know. It's so hard to tell what the subject they got on. But anyway, it reminded me of this idea of context and what's what what how we're looking at life. Okay, I mean whether you're this religious perspective or whether it's evolution or um, I mean, this is all this little bit of knowledge, this little change in how you define reality has a huge impact on how you're going to live in reality. What your internal morality is going to be, and whether it's a um, some other force is telling you what to do and you're obeying, which I don't even think is happening, or whether you have some internal rationale um, that might be based on some sort of social memes or some sort of notion that get yours before somebody gets you, or there's all kinds of little sayings, all these little cliches that we have to live by, and it's sort of, I mean, ethics are so insincere for most people. They're ethics of convenience. They won't they won't really pay much for their ethics, and you can sort of see that in their laws, the hypocrisy of laws against marijuana when they have legalized alcohol, and alcohol is, by any knowledgeable perception, um, the more dangerous um, intoxicant or um, recreational. I'm not thinking the right words, but I mean, whatever you class these drugs in. I mean, all the drugs are different, but um, this entertainment chemistry. Yeah, I'll call it that, entertainment chemistry. Um, yeah, alcohol is just hands down the worst player, and it caused the most human damage. Um, the addictive nature is undeniable. It's just physical addiction. I mean, it's got all the negatives, and yet somehow our knowledgeable society um, finds it possible to exercise those kinds of hypocrisies. And so it's not really about the context isn't being driven by knowledge or a devotion to anything accurate or truthful. It's about propaganda, rationalizations of the majority, because they're the ones that are allowed to make the 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 they get to define the cliches, they get to define the standards, the norms, the memes that we live by, and so their rationalizations are the ones that are you're going to hear on the news. You're going to see more of their rationalizations than you are other people's rationalizations. This is probably pointless. Anyway, so this isn't really exactly where I wanted to go with this. But the point is that there's this difference between knowledge that's pure, in that it's scientific, it's empirical, whatever. It's got to be a better word. See, all our words are a little bit corrupt. Um, but there's quality knowledge, whatever you want to call that. Knowledge that's just really rock solid. The Earth is round. Um, Obama's an asshole. Uh, wood is made out of trees. I mean, that rock solid kind of stuff. Um, and then there's the stuff that's more personal, like a tree treated me badly when I was a kid, and I don't like trees ever since, and I have some personal experience that's made it possible for me to um, have a perception, a negative uh, perception that I will be defending with rationalizations. That's, you know, because of that personal experience, because it's controlling. It's a controlling experience, and I guess that's the argument here. So it's really about what's controlling us. I mean, how controlled is the average human by growing up in a society that, if it isn't embracing religion, it does embrace life. It does embrace this notion that we're accomplishing something. And that's the popular propaganda, the 95, 99% propaganda. I can't think of anybody I ever met in my youth that ever talked down about the purposefulness of pursuing the life mission. Um, I just never heard any um, opposition opinion ever expressed anywhere ever. So that's a pretty strong propaganda to overcome. A pretty strong meme or idea or context to the development of your understanding of something is that if it's going to be that um, um, completely, if the argument is going to be so one-sided in terms of how it's presented, and that's always been how um, that's how it's done in the societies we have, is if it's not by God's edict that we respect life, it's by social norms, um, and as if it's some sort of knowledge, it's some sort of belief that it would be insane or crazy not to hold. And yet, when you analyze it, when you pick that apart, there really isn't anything there. There's no really hard, sound argument defending this point of view that this sort of insectus life that we're existing in, this bug's life of consumption and reproduction, cannibalism, addiction, death, is something worth doing. Excuse my arm. Because it's, excuse my arm. Anyway, so, yeah, where do I want to go with this? Yeah, well, I'm just trying to. So there's this is the real thing we have to guard against. So people are going to always accuse me of being, some kind of Donnie Dark guy or something, So I mean, it's just like, yeah, I got on the wrong foot and I got the wrong attitude, and blah blah blah, and they're gonna discount the philosophy, or the logic, or the facts even. Um, they're going to try to diminish their meaning because they're going to try to slander them essentially with an attitude and say, oh, my attitude is corrupted, and so therefore my words can't be respected because they're not sincere, or they're not qualified because they've been too subjectively tainted. And well, it's a pretty silly argument, because you can measure an argument, you can judge the argument itself, the words. You don't have to judge the messenger, because it's not about believing in someone. It's about understanding something. It's about how we're describing the world, not how we judge the people describing the world. And it's really stupid that we have a world that is so run by personality. Um, we got these network personalities that do all our arguing for us. And so we essentially pick a person, like I'm for whatever, the Keith Oberman guy, or I'm for Stewart guy, or I'm for whatever those Fox assholes are. And that's sort of how the world's run. Is what person you're for, what player, and it's like the player is the sport. And it's like there's all value of the argument is lost, and it's just now about some sort of contest between the personalities, which personality will prevail. And there's a lot of that going on in how people get elected president of the United States even. And so it's just a bad context, because it isn't knowledge, it isn't real understanding, it isn't some sort of fact database that's making these judgments. It's mostly polluted by about a bunch of subjective and um, personal experience things. I just don't like the guy's face, kind of crap, or an attitude, or it can just be one issue that people have, you know, a way overemphasized sensitivity to because of a personal experience, and they'll sacrifice the value of so much else because of that one thing. And it's none of it's so little, not none of it, but so little of the conversation, the debate, the activity of being human has so little to do with making rational arguments, and so much to do with uh, trying to appeal to the whatever exposed nerves there are, whatever um, um, connections you can make to somebody's emotions, to their love or to their fear. So anyway, that's the general. I just wanted to. It's sort of a subject that's going to reoccur because it's as important as context thing, the context of how we define reality, and it sort of starts with when I said the word life, and you start thinking about how do you even draw the word life. Do you draw the word life in stainless steel, cold, hard black lettering, or do you draw the word life in, rainbow colors and little happy Tweety birds and little smiley-faced flowers, um, and that's it's sort of what we how that's the texture of the conversation is wrapped around how these perceptions that are controlling us, how many of those are running through your head when somebody says the word. Are you thinking, okay, life, mostly microbes, big giant part of it is just insects, for 99.99% of the time that life has existed, it's been doing some really brutal, horrible stuff that I wouldn't want to be part of. I wouldn't want to be a flatworm. Um, so, is that the context, or is the context always going to be, uh, we went to a birthday party and there was pretty balloons and we had chocolate cake and ice cream. Um, so that's the context of how we're framing perceptions and definitions. I mean, context, I guess, is the definition. Yeah. So again, it's another broken word. I mean, all these words are just so broken. We have to recontextualize them. Reshape them into some sort of accurate shape. Into putting the meaningful truths in and filtering out the rubbish of personal want and desire and attachment. And yeah, so I don't know if anybody's up for that, though, unfortunately. So anyway, that's enough of a video. My arm, I'm tired for whatever reason. Ugh, really tired. Really, really. Just, whew. Anyway, yeah, I'll just give up. So anyway, this is a regular camera, Panasonic. So I was just testing to see the difference in the video quality between cameras intended to do videos and camera intended to do photos. The sound is always shit on those kind of cameras, but I just wanted to check to see what the image would be like relative to these other flip type cameras. So anyway, enough of a video. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know why my arm is so tired. Ah, that's fucked up. Anyway, till next time.